Welcome to Have You Read It, the channel where we bring books to life, one summary at a time. Whether you're here for self-help, personal growth, or business inspiration, there's something for everyone. Today, we're diving into The Lean Startup by Ries, a groundbreaking book that's revolutionized how we think about building and scaling businesses under conditions of extreme uncertainty. This isn't just a book for tech startups in Silicon Valley. It's a framework for innovation in any industry, from Fortune 500 companies to nonprofits, even government agencies. Ries kicks off the book with his own startup story, a cautionary tale of hard work and a seemingly brilliant idea that ultimately crashed and burned. His experience highlights the common myth of entrepreneurship, that success is inevitable with a great product and a strong team. The truth, as Ries discovers, is far more nuanced. Most startups fail not because of a lack of passion or talent, but because they lack a systematic process for navigating uncertainty. This is where the lean startup method comes in. Inspired by lean manufacturing principles pioneered by Toyota, Ries argues that startups aren't just smaller versions of big companies. They're fundamentally different kinds of organizations that require a new management approach. So, what exactly is a startup? Ries defines it as a human institution designed to create a new product or service under conditions of extreme uncertainty. This definition is intentionally broad, encompassing any organization, big or small, that's grappling with the unknown as it tries to bring something new to the world. The lean startup method rests on 5 key principles. Entrepreneurs are everywhere. Entrepreneurship. Is management. Validated learning is essential. The build, measure, learn feedback loop is fundamental, and innovation accounting provides a new way to measure progress. One of the core ideas here is validated learning. It's not enough to just say you've learned from your mistakes. You need to demonstrate it with empirical evidence. This means measuring your progress not by traditional metrics like lines of code written or dollars spent, but by how much you're learning about what customers actually want. Ries shares a pivotal story from his time at IMVU, a social networking company. Initially, the team thought they had a brilliant strategy, creating a 3D avatar chat program that integrated with existing IM platforms. They spent months building this complex product, only to find that no one wanted it. Their assumptions about customer needs were completely wrong. Through painful conversations with potential customers, the IMVU team realized that people didn't want an add-on. They wanted a standalone platform where they could make new friends using avatars. This realization forced them to throw away months of work and pivot to a completely different strategy. This painful experience taught Ries the critical difference between value-creating activities and waste in a startup. Ries compares building a startup to driving a car. Traditional business plans are like planning a rocket launch. Every detail needs to be perfect up front. But startups operate in a constantly changing environment. They need to steer, making constant adjustments based on feedback, just like a driver navigating a winding road. The lean startup method emphasizes a fast feedback loop called build, measure, learn. You build a minimum viable product, measure how customers respond, and then learn whether to pivot or persevere. This cycle repeats, allowing the startup to steer towards success. The book uses examples from a diverse range of businesses, from tech giants like Intuit, the maker of TurboTax, to a laundry service in India called Village Laundry Service. Intuit, despite being a Fortune 1000 company, realized it needed to adopt a lean startup approach to stay innovative. They now run hundreds of experiments each tax season to refine their products based on customer behavior. The Village Laundry Service, operating in a completely different context, also used a minimum viable product approach. They started with a single washing machine mounted on a truck to test their assumptions about customer demand before investing in a full-scale operation. So, how do you apply this to your own business? The first step is to identify your leap of faith assumptions, the riskiest parts of your plan. 2 key assumptions are the value hypothesis. Does your product actually deliver value to customers? And the growth hypothesis. How will you find new customers? Ries emphasizes the importance of getting out of the building and talking to customers. This isn't about asking customers what they want, but about understanding their problems and testing your assumptions. Next, you build your minimum viable product. This is not a half-baked product. It's the smallest thing you can build to test your hypotheses and get through the build, measure, learn loop quickly. Groupon, for example, started with a simple WordPress blog and handmade PDFs. Dropbox, a cloud storage company, started with a video demonstrating the product before the actual software was even built. Once you've built your minimum viable product, it's time to measure, but not with vanity metrics like website hits or number of registered users. You need actionable metrics that directly reflect your leap of faith assumptions. Ries shares how IMVU used cohort analysis, tracking the behavior of specific groups of customers to understand what was actually driving their growth, or lack thereof. After measuring, you learn and decide whether to pivot or persevere. A pivot isn't just changing your mind, it's a structured course correction designed to test a new hypothesis. The book details several types of pivots, including zoom-in pivots, focusing on a single feature, zoom-out pivots, expanding the product, customer segment pivots, and platform pivots. The story of Votizen, a political activism platform, illustrates the power of pivots. Through several iterations, they shifted their focus from a social network to a lobbying platform, eventually finding a business model that worked. To accelerate the build, measure, learn loop, Ries introduces the concept of small batches. Just as Toyota revolutionized manufacturing with small batches, startups can learn faster by releasing smaller, more frequent updates. This can apply to any industry. SGW DesignWorks, a company that builds physical products, used small batches to rapidly design and deliver a complex X-ray system for the military. As your startup grows, you need to become an adaptive organization, one that can adjust its processes and performance to changing conditions. The 5 Whys technique, borrowed from Toyota, can help you identify the root cause of problems and make proportional investments in prevention. Instead of blaming individuals, you focus on fixing the system. Ries also emphasizes the importance of managing your company as a portfolio of activities. As your startup matures, you'll need to balance innovation with operational excellence. To foster innovation within large companies, Ries recommends creating sandboxes, protected environments where teams can experiment without fear of disrupting the core business. The book concludes with a call to action, urging entrepreneurs to join the lean startup movement and embrace a scientific approach to building businesses. He even proposes the creation of a long-term stock exchange that would reward companies focused on sustainable, long-term growth rather than short-term profits. So, what's the main takeaway? The lean startup isn't about following a rigid set of rules. It's about building a culture of learning and experimentation, using a scientific approach to navigate uncertainty and maximize your chances of success. Here are some easy-to-remember heuristics. Validated learning over vanity. Metrics. Focus on learning what customers actually want, not just accumulating impressive-sounding numbers. Build, measure. Learn. Constantly iterate and refine your product based on customer feedback. Minimum viable product. Start small, test your hypotheses quickly, and don't overbuild. Pivot or persevere. Be willing to change direction based on what you learn. Small batches. Learn faster by releasing smaller, more frequent updates. 5 Whys. Identify the root cause of problems and invest in prevention. Innovation. Sandbox. Create safe spaces for experimentation within established organizations. Thanks for watching. Have you read it? Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss our next book dive.